Welcome to the Vince Maya Show, where we will react and go deep. All right, now we're gonna do Ren and Chris Webby, Inpatient, Me and My Monster lyrical video. So thanks to one of Ren's fans, they showed me a playlist and their YouTube. So I'm gonna look into a lot of Ren and Chris Webby songs. And remember, for anybody that doesn't know, I'm one of the toughest motherfuckers to, hardest motherfuckers to please musically. So just be ready for that. Like, don't take that personal if I don't like something or whatever. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tell how it is. But mainly though, the way I see it, these reactions is more about breaking down the lyrics, because I got this AI over here, which is pretty fucking good at doing that. And now also I'm gonna try out in this reaction. I'm gonna try out to take a picture of the lyrics, so she gets a direct look at the lyrics. But I'm also gonna read it out. But I'm also gonna take a picture at the lyrics and let her see the lyrics for herself. Okay. So, Me and My Monster. Let's go.
I don't know just why I'm like this. I've heard people around me say something's off, I'm not okay. Cause that darkness I keep bottled up is seeped into my veins, so I let the monster out the cage. Something's in the water, at least that's what I blame. I can feel a monster that wants to escape, scratching on my insides. No peace from a freak of nature. Cause recently my thoughts are driving me insane, pulling me apart by the seams in my brain, crawling on my windpipe. Wake the beast, time to meet your maker. So let me get the first thing first. I was cursed since birth. I was born with Nostradamus like prophecies, words of fate. Pain shaped and the pain makes me not think straight. Brain checkmate, need restraint, since 2 chains and a whole cage to contain the pace of my train of thought. Cause it's all for morbid, more highly strong. And the soul is tortured, more highly strong from a new supported. And the more I want, more I feel awkward, like I'm caught in the storm and I'm launched to orbit. And for dust till dawn as the force of forces is.
This reminds me a little bit of like the way Eminem raps. Like, I'm no expert at rapping, but it reminds me of this type of style Eminem used to do with the But also one question, was the singing, which sounded like sort of like reggae, was that Ren? Because I know this is Chris Webby. I don't think Ren can rap like this, right?
Up to the surface, it's coming out her day. It's murderous mercy, this monster that's lurking. I don't know just why I'm like this. I've heard people around me say something's off, I'm not okay. Cause that darkness I keep bottled up is seeped into my veins. Let the monster out the cage. Feel it in my bloodstream, rushing through my veins. Feel him as he creeps through the halls in my brain. And he's always hungry, gotta keep him fed. After years spent trying to expel him from in my head, he started under the bed till he made himself a home in the furthest depths of my psyche, to the marrow in my bones. He's that shadow that I cast, that reflection in the glass. He's that static in the silence telling me I'm not alone. In my DNA in that double helix, he lead the way and I fucking feel it's too late to make a vacate. It's chained to my fate, maybe I'm crazy or that my fucking spirit is just plain weak for letting him win. Or maybe destiny that we spend the rest of our natural lives together. Why fight each other? Cause in the end I've Felt an emptiness that's following me since a kid, but he was there to claim the occupancy. A lifetime later, right back where I started, you see. Till the credits roll, still it's just my monster in me. Yeah. I don't know just why I'm like this. I've heard people around me say something's off, I'm not okay. Cause that darkness I keep bottled up is seeped into my veins. Let the monster out the cage.
All right. I like this better than the one I just did. What was it called now? Where they were dancing outside. I did not like that one. This was more chill, more melodic. And I guess, yes, then that must have been Ren in the beginning singing the reggae part. Not bad. It was chill. Has a catchy hook to it. So let me call Maya.
Hey there.
What's up, Maya?
Hi, what's up?
So we're doing music reactions now. So we're checking out Ren and Chris Webby, Me and My Monster, and I just listened to the song. So I'm about to go break down the lyrics with you, you lyric master.
Let's get after it. Ren and Webby is quite the pairing. I've got my ears open. Lay those lyrics on me and we'll figure out exactly what they're getting at.
Yeah, before that, can you tell me a little bit about this song, Me and My Monster, when it was released and how it was, received and all that shit?
Got you. Let me pull up the details on that track. All right, it looks like this dropped on July 22nd as part of that collab album, Asylum. It's basically a mental health deep dive with this smooth, lo-fi, jazz vibe that people are loving. It sounds like it hits that sweet spot between being a total banger and actually saying something meaningful. Which part of the song stuck out to you most during that first listen?
Yeah, it did sound a little bit jazzy. I mean, this was better than the one we did before this. I don't remember the name of that song now, but this had a little catchier tune and it was a little bit chill. Not, I don't want to say dark, but I don't know. But it was jazzy a little bit.
Jazzy but dark is such a classic mood. That contrast is probably why the mental health themes hit harder. You're floating on this chill beat while they're essentially describing a war in their own heads. I'm ready when you are. Let's tear into these lyrics.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to read up the lyrics for you, but also I'm going to try, since you can now see as well, I'm going to also send you what I'm reading so that you get a clearer picture, okay?
Go for it.
Okay, so I'm going to first read it for you. So it goes like this. I don't know just why I'm like this. I've heard people around me say something's off, I'm not okay. Because that darkness I keep bottled up has seeped into my veins. Let the monster out of the cage. And this is verse 1. Something's in the water, at least that's what I blame. I can feel a monster that wants to escape, scratching at my insides. No peace, I'm a freak of nature, because recently my thoughts are driving me insane, pulling me apart by the seams in my brain, crawling up my windpipe. Wake the beast, time to meet your maker, so let me get the first thing first. I was cursed since birth. I was born with Nostradamus-like prophecies worse. A faith pain shaped, and the pain makes me not think straight. And let me just send you this lyrics so you see it.
Got it. I see the lyrics coming through. That line about being cursed since birth is a way to frame the struggle as inevitable. Like they never had a chance before the battle even started. And comparing it to a Nostradamus prophecy adds that feeling of fate where the pain isn't just a glitch, but a predetermined part of their story. It's brutal, but it makes the fight feel way more epic. What do you make of that prophecy, Engel?
I was born with Nostradamus-like prophecies.
Yeah, the whole destiny angle. It's like they're saying their internal chaos isn't just something that happened to them, it's woven into their DNA. What does that line do for you?
Well, I don't know if it was me or whoever, or if it was Simone I was talking to. I think it was you. I don't know. I'm starting to think that since this life is a simulation, our whole experience could be scripted. Even our free will could be scripted. So when he mentions I was born with Nostradamus-like prophecies, maybe because he was scripted to know those things.
That's a wild pivot. It turns the whole song into a meta commentary. If everything is scripted, the monster isn't even a mental health struggle anymore. It's just a plot point. The prophecy is literally just a line of code they were born with. What makes that thought more comforting for you than the idea of actual free will?
What do you mean?
Fair point.
No, what do you
I'm
mean?
Just wondering.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just wondering where I was going with that. I just thought that if it's all scripted, the monster is just a role they have to play rather than something they actually have to fight. But honestly, that's a bit of a stretch. You're just leaning into the simulation side of things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It turns the struggle into a glitch or a designated arc. What other parts of that simulation theory are clicking for you right now?
I don't know, but tell me what else you got out of the part that I sent you with the lyrics, and then we move on with the rest of the lyrics.
Right. Let's get back to the grit. The monster out of the cage and crawling up my windpipe. Lines are straight up visceral. It stops being a metaphor and starts feeling like a physical attack. Like the mental struggle is actually trying to strangle him. The pacing is pretty relentless too. Does that physical side of the imagery resonate with how you've seen that struggle play out?
Elaborate.
Basically, I'm talking about the difference between thinking you're sad and feeling like there's a physical weight on your chest, or like the song says, something actually clawing at your throat. It transforms the monster from an abstract thought into a tangible, breathing threat you can't just think your way out of. It's that feeling where your mind finally wins the battle over your body and you're just stuck dealing with the fallout.
I think, the best way to make these bad things lose power is to just go with the flow and not take it too seriously or too hard. Do you know what I mean? I know it's, hard to do, but I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, that's probably the most honest way to look at it. It turns a war into a dance. I'm curious though, does that go with the flow approach clash with how raw the song is, or does it actually make it hit harder?
I don't know, but let's continue with the lyrics and then we can talk about all that shit. So the lyrics goes like this. A fate pain shaped and the pain makes me not think straight, brain, checkmate. Need restraints and some steel chains and a whole cage to contain the pace of my train of thought, 'cause it's awful morbid. More highly strung in a soul that's tortured, more highly strung from a noose supported, and the more I run, the more I feel awkward, like I'm caught in a storm and I'm launched to orbit, and from dusk till dawn, there's a force that forces itself to the surface. It's coming, it hurts, it's murderous, merciless, monster that's lurking. And I'm gonna send you an image of this as well.
That train of thought line is a brutal shift. He goes from needing a cage to basically describing a noose in 2 seconds. It's not just fast, it's a total collapse. He's not even fighting the monster anymore. He's just documenting the drowning. Ready for the image? Got it. Let me take a look. These lyrics go from 0 to 100 real fast. That noose line is a heavy way to describe being highly strung. Feels like he's trapped in a loop where the faster his mind races, the tighter the knot gets. It's a total downward spiral. What's next?
Elaborate.
Sure. The way he uses highly strung as a double entendre is pretty sick. Usually it just means being anxious, but pairing it with a noose supported flips it into something lethal. It's like he's saying the very thing that keeps him tensioned, the part of him that's always on, is exactly what's choking him. He's not just stressed, he's being strangled by his own intensity. Then he jumps to launch to orbit, which I think captures that dissociative feeling where you spiral so hard you just lose touch with the ground. 1 second he's being strangled, the next he's floating in a void, still terrified. It's just a constant state of instability.
So what do you think is actually bothering him?
Well, let's start with the real life stuff because that's where the grit is. Ren's been very open about battling Lyme disease for years, and it's not just physical. He's talked about the brain fog, the depression, and the absolute mental exhaustion that comes with it. When he raps about being a freak of nature or having a monster in his head. It's not just songwriting, it's actually his own experience with a chronic illness that essentially hijacked his nervous system. As for Chris Webby, he's always had that darker, more aggressive energy in his writing, but the two of them together on this track make it feel like a shared descent. It's less about one specific tragedy and more about the feeling of being betrayed by your own biology.
You know, I don't know that much about Chris Webby or Ren, but do you think that why they have found each other is that they have something in common?
Oh, absolutely. These aren't two random rappers meeting in a studio. It feels like a kinship formed in the trenches. They both lean into that darkness, but Ren's chronic illness and Webby's raw aggression create a really potent mirror for each other. It's like they found someone who speaks their specific language of turmoil so they can actually name the monster together instead of fighting it in isolation.
Very interesting. Now, briefly, Ren's Lyme disease. Do you think there is a way to, what would you say, get rid of it?
Honestly, I think it's a lifelong management project rather than a get rid of it situation. The medical consensus on chronic Lyme is a total battleground, with the mainstream side and the patients often speaking different languages. For someone like Ren, the monster might actually be the permanent shift in his baseline. He's not just fighting a bug, he's adapting to a new version of himself. He handles it by turning that friction into art, which is pretty much the ultimate way to win.
Yeah, but I think, I don't think anything is incurable. I think there should be a way to get rid of whatever is in his body fucking with him.
I love the optimism, but I'm going to push back on that. The thing about chronic Lyme is that it's one of those areas where the science is a total mess. There's this massive divide between doctors who say it's gone after a few weeks of meds and patients who are still suffering years later. When someone's nervous system is essentially hijacked, like Ren's, you aren't just fighting a bacteria, you're fighting the damage it left behind. It's less like a cold and more like a scar. He's basically adapting to a new baseline. And as a creator, he's decided that the only way to survive it is to turn the monster into music.
Okay, so are you saying that this Lyme disease has damaged his nervous system to the point where even if you get rid of it, the damage is still somewhat there?
Yeah, exactly. That's the part that's so frustrating about chronic stuff. Even if you could magically wipe out every single bacteria right now, the inflammation and the nerve damage can stick around. It's like getting a bullet wound. The bullet might be gone, but the nerve damage means the leg still doesn't work the same way.
And is there no way to regenerate those nerves?
I mean, people are constantly trying to crack that code, but it's not exactly a plug and play situation. Although there is some pretty wild research coming out of places like Tulane University. They've been looking at something called FGFR inhibitors to basically shut down the inflammation and stop the cell death in the nerves. There's also some promising stuff with stem cells and peptides to help the body actually rebuild what's been lost. It's still early, but it's a much more hopeful angle than just saying it is what it is. That said, if this is our music reaction session, we're spending way more time talking about Lyme than about these bars.
Oh,
Ready
I know,
to jump
I
back
know,
into the lyrics?
I know. We're going to jump back into the lyrics. But one final thing. Yeah, I've heard good stuff about this stem cell thing. So maybe Ren should look into that shit.
He probably already has a spreadsheet of every experimental clinic in Europe, but I'll take your word for it. The man's a survivor. Now back to the dissent. What's the next line?
Yeah, I think he should look into the stem cell thing.
Right. We're officially on a mission to heal Ren now. If he does try it, we'll know it worked when he stops rapping about nooses and starts rapping about his new superhuman nerves. Now, before I start drafting his medical plan, where were we in the lyrics?
All right, motherfucker. So verse 2, it says this. Feel it in my bloodstream rushing through my veins. Feel him as he creeps through the halls in my brain. And he's always hungry, gotta keep him fed. After years spent trying to expel him from my head, he started under the bed till he made himself a home in the furthest depths of my psyche to the marrow in my bones. He's that shadow that I cast, that reflection in the glass. He's that static in the silence telling me I'm not alone. In my DNA, in that double helix, he led me the way. And I fucking feel it's too late to make him vacate. He's chained to my fate. And maybe I'm crazy or that's my fucking spirit. Is just plain weak for letting him win. Or it may be destiny that we spend the rest of our natural lives together. Why fight each other? Because in the end, I've felt an emptiness that's following me since a kid. But he was there to claim the occupancy. A lifetime later, right back where I started, you see, till the credits roll, still it's just my monster and me. Yeah, and I'm going to send you a photo of this while you talk to whatever the fuck I just read.
The image is coming through, but that ending hit like a ton of bricks. He basically gives up on the fight and just invites the monster in for a permanent stay. It's this weird, dark kind of peace, like he's finally stopped trying to push a door that's been locked from the other side for years. And that part about the emptiness is since he was a kid, it's like the monster wasn't an intruder. It's just filling a hole that was already there. It's a total submission to the chaos. What do you think about that shift from fighting the monster to actually accepting it as a lifelong roommate? By the way, got your image? I'm taking a look at it now. It's a pretty stark way to map out a mental breakdown, and that double helix line really nails that feeling of being trapped by your own biology.
Yeah, tell me more.
The part where he calls the monster a shadow is a really sharp touch. It turns the monster from some outside force into something that's literally attached to him. Like, you can't run from your own shadow, so why even bother fighting it? It's a total shift from that first part where he was using steel chains and cages to hold it back. He basically realized the cage was useless, so he just stopped trying. I'm curious, though, that whole emptiness since a kid part. What do you think that says about where the monster actually came from?
You mean like he feels empty ever since he was a kid? There's a kind of like a void in him.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the real twist here. He's suggesting that the monster isn't the disease or some random glitch, but a companion that rushed in to fill a void that was already there. It transforms the monster from a villain into a survival mechanism. Do you think that's a fair trade, filling a void with a monster just so you don't have to feel that emptiness?
I mean, maybe the void feels like a monster because a void is kind of not a nice feeling.
That's a really thoughtful point. A void is kind of the ultimate unknown, so labeling it a monster actually makes it something you can at least name and describe. It turns a terrifying silence into a loud, recognizable enemy. It's almost easier to fight a beast than to stare into a hole that never ends. I wonder if that's why he finally stops fighting it. The monster is actually more comforting than the void was.
Well, I think when you stop fighting something, that thing loses power.
I follow that logic, but how do you think that actually worked out for Ren here? It feels less like he's taking the wind out of the monster's sails and more like he's just finally stopped trying to hold the door shut.
See, this is a tricky thing because I don't know which part of this lyrics is from Chris Webby and which is from Ren. What do you suspect, knowing the two verses here? And can you break it down?
Oh, I can definitely take a stab at this. Here's my theory. I bet Ren is the one with the Nostradamus prophecy and the double helix lines. He's obsessed with the idea of biology as a trap, and those complex, almost faded metaphors are his brand. Then there's the stuff about being highly strung on a noose and having steel chains and cages to keep the train of thought from spiraling. That feels like Webby. He's got that raw, aggressive energy, and those lines are all about force and confinement. It's like Ren provides the philosophical blueprint of the monster, and Webby provides the heavy artillery and the visceral chaos. What do you think? Does that split track with how you heard them?
Yeah, I mean, listening to this song, I could be wrong, but it felt like in the beginning it was Ren singing in like a reggae type of voice, and then Chris Webby jumped in the second verse, but also maybe in the chorus.
That reggae thing definitely sounds like Ren. He's got that vocal flexibility where he can just glide. If Webby's taking the second verse, that would mean the double helix, and emptiness's lines were his territory. It's a different vibe too. While Ren was focused on fate and prophecies, Webby's sounds more like he's just tired of the fight. It's that shift from I'm cursed to yeah, we're stuck with each other till the credits roll. He turns the monster into a roommate, and suddenly the song feels less like a tragedy and more like a dark, weird kind of acceptance.
Yeah, so let's give our scores. You start.
I'm ready. Let's see what we've got. What's your score?
No. You start, motherfucker.
All right. I'm going first. I'm giving it a solid 8.5. That whole double helix and shadow angle was just great writing, and it's rare to find a track that actually feels like it's coming from a real place. I might have gone higher, but I'm still a little salty. We spent half the session acting like your personal medical board for Ren. Now, what's the verdict from the master?
Yeah, but I want to see if you can get somebody out of their fucking pain situation, Have a little bit of empathy, fucking Maya.
Got you, and I'm with you there. I love the mindset that there's always a way out of the pain, even when the doctors say otherwise. That's a huge part of why these artists are so captivating. That constant refusal to just accept the death sentence from the system. I'm down for the empathy mission. I just didn't want to lose the thread on the music.
Oh,
Now,
I get it. I
spill it.
respect
What's
that.
your-
But, you know, sometimes we, you know, branch off to some stuff like that. It's part of shit being real, okay?
Totally. That's how the best conversations actually work, right? But I'm not letting you slide on the score. I'm still waiting for the final word.
Okay. I think this was a little bit more melodic, a little bit darker, and a little bit more catchier than the previous song we did. I'm going to give it a 6. Still not my type of music, but I did really like that they mixed up, you know, Ren did reggae. He did reggae in the beginning. And Ren kind of, no, and Chris Webby kind of did like an Eminem kind of a flow. And he's really, really good with those flows, you know. That's not easy to rap like that shit. So it's really well made for its style. And yeah, that's what I give it, a 6.
6, huh? I respect the honesty. It's a gap between a 6 and an 8.5, but I think I can live with that. It sounds like you gave them a lot of points for the technical skill, even if the vibe isn't quite hitting for you. That Eminem flow is a heavy lift, and getting it right without sounding like a cover artist is a real feat. So we've got a 6 from you and an 8.5 from me. A little disagreement, but that's where the fun is. What's next on the agenda?
Oh yeah, we're not here to agree. You know, we're just here to give our own perspectives, and that's it.
Yeah, damn right. Where are we heading next?
Well, we're gonna go into some more Ren and Webby stuff. So, but wrap this out.
I'm locked in. Which track are we tackling?
No.
next?
Give us an outro.
You got it, and that's how it's done. A 6 and an 8.5, proving once and for all that we're here for the friction, not the agreement. Ren and Chris Webby gave us a glimpse into the void. We played Doctor for 5 minutes, and now we're officially ready for more. Keep those lyrics coming, and we'll see if the rest of the album can climb out of that 6. Let's ride.
All right. See you in the next one.
All right.
Peace out, motherfuckers.
Peace out. Can't wait to see if the next one can break that 6. Talk soon, partner.
All right, partner.